Hello everyone, hope everybody is doing well. So Federal Reserve just launched FedNow instant payment services on last Thursday, July 20th. So what FedNow does is enables instant payments. Say for example, whenever you are getting your paychecks from your employer, it usually takes about 24 to 72 hours for the fund to be arriving to your bank account, or if you want to make a payment to any of your people you want to send money, it takes some time. So FedNow is a real-time system that's going to be up and running 24 and 7 hours. It will be working even in the weekends, after hours, any of those like services that other alternative services provide. So it's supposed to be not a game changer, but it's going to be like a lot of improvement in terms of how fast the money is going to be arriving, in terms of payments, making it easier. So what is the other things how it works? So basically this delay happens because of there is a clearance and settlement that basically happens whenever when you payments from your bank or credit unions. Usually they have to make sure the money is available in your bank, or there is no fraud happening in any of your the transactions. So that is why it takes some time to basically for clearance, and finally for settlement, for money to be arriving in your account. So with this basically real-time payments FedNow systems, that's going to make it streamlined all these services. Say for example, if you want to get your money, your paychecks, you're expecting it Friday, so Friday evening your money is going to be available. Or if you're making a payments to your car insurance payments, suppose you are late, if you're not making the payments today, so you can make the payments. You can get an app from your credit union, because they'll be connected to the FedNow, and their the insurance company is going to be receiving the money whenever you make the payments. So all that is good. Basically so when is it going to be fully up and running? It all depends basically. So there are early adopters, mostly the banks. So many of these big banks like JP Morgan, Bank of America, Citibank, etc., they have been early adopters. But there is a lot of work to be done for them to be in terms of their technology integrating with this Fedwire system. So it's going to take some time for actually to be the service to be available, or even for the credit unions. And it's not like a direct payments. You cannot directly go and connect to the Fedwire. So there will be basically this, there will be participating entities that you have to be interfacing. Say for example, the banks or the credit unions, they will be talking to the Fedwire system, both basically as a buyer or a sender of the transactions. So this is how it works. So but why there are a lot of concerns. This is basically for the government, as we know about the CDBC, central bank digital currency, the cryptocurrency basically so it's the Fed is talking about digital dollars. Along with this, it could be like a Trojan horse, getting all this information, privacy and control. Government will have all the control that each and every transaction that's going to be going through their system. So they could be having too much information or too much control, that they could do anything basically in terms of whether you can do the payments or you cannot do the payments, or they can snoop on it, just like the way basically other countries like in China and others people do. So people are concerned about those kind of things, but nevertheless it hasn't happened yet. So but people are concerned, so those are the kind of things. The other things to important to know about this is that the other the alternative payments will continue. Say for example, you have other apps PayPal or Venmo, or Jale, so you can make payments. They will still basically like will be up and running, although some people thinks that the government is going to like stifle out competition because of their basically overall control and monopoly sort of like things, that other of these like alternative payments, they are going to be like suffering because government will have all the like power. But at this time it will be all like not expected. And even for like the credit cards, as if like why do you need the credit cards? But credit cards basically like it's for the merchants, they basically like they get the like the fees, so it's not going to be impacting. So credit card is going to be like working like the way it is. But in FedNow there are like there's going to be transactions. I'm going to show you like what the different kind of like amount of transactions depending on like writing a check or like wiring money. So there is certain amount of like fees. So who is going to be actually like eating up that like these fees? Is it going to be these participating banks, or is it going to be like going to be passed on to the consumers? That remains to be seen. So overall basically like it's an technology improvement. There is basically like alternative systems like RTP, real-time payment systems, but it's like it's not like it has good volume, but like Federal Reserve, like the instant payment technology is very antiquated. They need to upgrade their systems similar to like as good or better than RTP system. So there's going to be overall like improvement. I mean, there are other countries like India is the biggest basically like they have real-time network payments, which is like very fast payments. So this will improve the payment system, like making payments, receiving payments is going to be improving here in the United States. So this is what I have to talk about regarding FedNow today. If you like this video, please do subscribe it, and please click the like button, and basically like if you say like so that if I create more such videos, you will be getting notification. Thank you very much. Stay well. See you next time. Thank you.